recording. So can we seriously tell me that do you want to do this FYP or not? You haven't been seeing me for the past 7 weeks. I've been looking and looking for you. You have gone MIA on me.
Sorry, doctor.
I already told you the very serious that I need you to do something in February. The result will come out in February, and yet you macam tak care. So what happened?
Hello.
I don't want to have a student that I have to go and look for her all the time, you know.
Sorry, doctor.
7 weeks, 7 weeks, I haven't seen a sign of you. Just like you've just gone and submarine yourself. This better be good, huh? I don't want to see myself getting angry over this, huh? I hope so. Okay, overview. No, this section you should be talking not only about foundation. This one you should be talking about overall. Overall, and then talk about, what is construction. The title is construction engineering. It's not construction engineering. It's just construction.
Industry.
Yeah, construction industries or, construction projects. What is construction? Construction is about building what? Like define construction first and define all the things that we are building. And then with all the things that we're building, we're not only building foundation and all that. You see, you're talking about building all the while here, and whereby our polymer piles are not even used for building at all, you see. It's not for structure. So you have to talk about construction industry. What does a construction industry do? It do civil work, it do structural work. What kind of facilities does it do? And how big the industry is. And then you talk about the use of the then you talk about foundation, and foundation used in building. It also is being used in many civil works. So where is those civil works things that we're looking at here? This is completely about structure. Again, about structure again, you see.
For example, doctor, under construction there is like management, then building and all like that.
Yeah, you have to talk about all sorts of different construction methods, you see. This is really like, I don't think you know what you're doing now. You're really wasting your time talking about all sorts of foundation, all sorts of piles and all that. This is not what I'm looking for. Completely, your first 10 pages are just rubbish. And none of it, zero. I can't see anything talking about polymer piles. Here, recycle polymer piles, only this bit here. So how do we want to do this? You still want to do this, or you want to change topic? I think you better change lecturer like that. Some out one. Don't want to come and see me and then give me this kind of work. So you decide. Before I waste my time talking to you and then you go missing for another 7 weeks again and my project is gone already.
Can I still fix with this topic? Because I think changing.
Changing basically means that you stay for another semester. Like this also you have to stay for another semester. I'm not gonna pass you on this sort of things, Not because of you give me enough of pages, it means that it's a good kind of work. Your topic is so straightforward, it's so direction is so clear. I don't even know what is the issues of why you want to write so many things here that is not even related to what we're talking about.
So on 2.3, I don't have to talk about the deep foundation. What type of foundation have?
Do you think that the deep type of foundation can use polymer power? I don't think polymer piles can actually replace ball pile and RC piles. So basically the first 7 to 8 pages is running out of topic completely and you only have 16 pages and some of it are actually references. So it means that these 7 weeks, you've only done about 6 pages of work that is roughly, can be used. Do you see the problem? So this is as good as starting a new project now, That's why I said before I talk to you more, I want you to decide lah. You stay with me. If you still maintain the way you are, likely is FYP1. I'll see you again next semester, okay? If you want to catch up, if you are committed to catch up and follow my schedule regularly, then I'm willing to help. But if you're planning in your head that you're planning that, I really can't, I'm just gonna hunt thumb and then do whatever I want. That I can tell you that I would not hesitate to fail you. I am not the type of lecturers that you don't give me what I want, I will still close my eyes and let you go. There are lecturers like that, you can go and look for them. I'm giving you a choice now.
I will try to catch up on my draft, on my literature review.
Okay? So you say you want to catch up, but if you cannot manage to catch up, I'll see you again in FYP1 next semester, okay?
Okay.
If you don't come to my standard, then you don't come at all. That's what I'm trying to say here. Basically, you have to. So we decide on that now.
Okay. Yes.
So on 16, I want you to finish your literature review all the way down to value engineering and LCC and how LCC and value engineering are being done. What are the formulas? What are the steps of doing it? Okay? You have to cover all the way up there. If not, then you are still not up to, you still haven't catch up yet. Are you writing this down?
Yes. I'm writing this down.
Okay, so construction engineering, you don't use the word construction engineering. Start off with what is the construction industry and what does the construction industry build? What does it build? Okay.
Mhm.
So what does it build? You have to have 2-3 paragraphs of what does it do, what does it build. And some of this work, half of the work are considered as, I don't know whether it's half or not. You have to find literature review to back you up. So this basically is completely rubbish here. Okay. Okay, you can use this, some of this, okay, but then you cannot focus on just home, bungalow, structure. Are you trying to tell me that your 4 years of engineering work in Unimas has been only structure?
No.
You haven't done any water works, ka? You haven't done any drainage work, ka? You haven't done any sewage work, ka?
Have.
Have. Then how come your construction engineering is only limited to structure? So your construction industry can only build structure, is it?
No.
No. Okay, so you understand where your problem is now.
Yes.
So construction industry, it builds many things. It builds structure. It also builds facilities. It also builds what? It builds structure. You can mention in one paragraph what type of structures they are. They are heavy. They are high rises. They are very heavy load bearing structures. You know, such as what? Okay, they are also shallow. They are also low bearing foundation, low load bearing foundations, such as houses, you know, and less than 1 or 2 stories. You know, you have to find literature on that. And the other portion of it is on civil work. And civil work also, what are civil works? So road work, drainage work, water works, sewage work, many type of facilities being built. I mean, there's many type of infrastructures that are built under civil work. So this part you have to split up into structure and civil work. And under civil work, there is also a need, depending on the soil conditions, to have foundation. Okay? So then after you finish talking about this, some foundations are low load bearing, some foundation requires high load bearing piles, for example. Give me an example. So if you're building road or if you're building drainage work, small drains, you also need foundation. Some you don't need foundation. Are we clear on that?
Yes.
So this is only your intro, your very, very intro. So from there, you start to focus on lightweight foundation. Talk about lightweight one. Whether it's for structure or civil, there are foundations that are no need to talk about deep foundation anymore. Don't waste your time.
Okay.
Okay, so with shallow foundation or with light load bearing foundation, what sort of piles that are being used? Usually it will be RC timber. I mean, like, do you need driven piles? I mean, there are foundation that don't need piles, there are foundation that need piles. Okay, so you need to spread that out. So for foundation that needs piles, okay, for low load bearing one, what do you use? It will be wood and concrete normally. And in Sarawak, wood timber for those civil work foundation, we are focusing on that. Bakau, Belian, what other timber are used for this sort of low load bearing? And what are their advantages? The different ones have different advantages. Precast, I mean the RC piles also are being used. So you can describe RC pile, you can describe timber. Under timber, what are the different type of timber? Bakau, Belian, they are all there. Okay?
Okay.
You definitely don't use steel piles. You don't use steel piles for shallow foundation. So you can list down for what kind of load bearing capacities, from what load to what load you can use RC piles, from what load to what load you are using timber piles. What is the purpose of timber pile? What are the purpose of RC piles?
Mm.
And you can talk about the cost of them. What are the advantages of using this type of pile? What are the disadvantages of using this sort of piles? And what are the advantages of using RC piles? What are the advantages of disadvantages of using RC pile? So after that, you will conclude that a lot we are still using timber pile, but timber pile have issues like environmental issues. So you talk about that. The advantages and disadvantages of all these piles, you talk about that in detail. And then you will see that with timber pile, there's some environmental issues such as, cutting off of the mangrove are not allowed anymore. So you have a lot of shortage of this sort of piles. So then there is a next proposal of using polymer piles. RC piles can use, but they are very expensive. That could be one of the disadvantages. But you have to find lah. You write all these things for what? But this engineering review is not about design, Huh? Do you see the floor or not? I'm giving you the floor already. You don't go and mimpi.
Yes.
So all these advantages, just different. Now we're focusing on low load bearing capacities piles. So from the big picture of foundation, of structure, of construction engineering, we are narrowing it down to foundation. There are two types of foundation. One is for high load bearing, one is for low load bearing. Under low load bearing, we could have just normal rough foundation, just one piece of slab will do. There is also driven piles. And under driven piles for low load bearing, we are focusing on RC and timber piles. And you write about their advantages, their type, their sizes, their availability, what are their load bearing capacities, what are their joining like, and all that. And then describe them in each of them in detail. Then after that, follow on to the advantages and disadvantages. And now, because of some of the disadvantages, there is a new type of pile coming back out. It's called polymer pile. What is polymer piles? You have to do a very detailed studies on polymer piles. Detailed literature on polymer piles. There are pure polymer. What type of polymer? HDPE, PE, is there a pile like that now in the industry? Then what is their load bearing capacities like? What do they normally being used for? What is their joining like? Is it easy? What is the advantages? What are the disadvantages? Then now we are looking at the possibilities of replacing polymer piles with timber pile like Bakau. But before we can replace, we need to understand what is the life cycle costing and the value engineering. What is the best value engineering first? What is the best sizes of polymer piles that is good for certain load bearing? You set that load bearing. If it's low load bearing, is what? 10 kilonewton, 5 to 10 kilonewton. So we want to study the value engineering. What is value engineering? Then your literature review focus on value engineering. Then you talk about what is life cycle costing. How do you do life cycle costing? What techniques, what formula do you use to do life cycle costing? What formula, what technique do you use to do value engineering? Then later on, that's it. The literature review is done. Are we clear?
Yes.
You don't yes me, and then later on, you go back and continue to sleep and mimpi, and then come back in 2 weeks' time still with this sort of things, Or best even, don't even come back until I look for you everywhere. Call you, ask your friend to call you, in class call you, or ignore me. 7 weeks, I almost expect you already quit.
I have a question about the value engineering.
Yes,
Do I also have to like tell about the phases of the value engineering?
of course. Do you know what to do? If you don't read up on that, if you don't write on that, do you know what to do? Do you know the value engineering technique? You answer me first.
Yes.
You know, is it?
Yes.
So
I've
that
read
means
about it.
you don't need to write anymore lah, because you know everything already, kan?
Oh, I see. Okay.
So to learn how to do value engineering, you need to learn the different phases. What to do in the different phases. Does the phases have different formula? Does the phases have different techniques? Because later on, you akan pinjam this sort of thing. You're gonna use it, you're gonna apply this in your study. So if you know what to do, then you don't need to write lah. It's okay. Tapi jangan later on come to me, Dr. Ting, I need a formula for value engineering, because I don't have it. If you don't do your literature review, you basically don't have it, okay? Life cycle costing is different from value engineering. It's a complete different thing. So life cycle costing, what is in life cycle costing? What are the components of life cycle costing? What are the techniques that you use in life cycle costing? Do you write it down? You see, you don't write anything at all. So later on, how are you going to study life cycle costing? You tell me. You answer me value engineering, you know kan? So can you tell me now, if I want you to study the powers for value engineering, what are you going to do now? You cakap you tahu sudah apa? Hi, Izati. Can we?
Sorry. You
You
get cut off. Hello?
Huh? Hello, yeah?
Uh-huh. What
What?
value engineering?
So, do you know what to do? If I ask you to do now polymer powers, how to calculate value engineering, you know how to calculate or not?
Calculate, no. I just know like the step of it.
Then you need to write down all the steps here. The study of all the steps. What you do in each of the steps, so that you can create that later on. You can recreate that later on. So you are asking me that do we need to write about the phases? So you say you know all the phases already. You sudah so pandai already. Why you need to do? Then I ask you to do it now. You say you don't know how to do. You get what I mean or not?
Mm.
What do you mean by phases?
The
Value engineering, right?
yes.
So if you don't describe it, if you don't learn it, if you don't write it, do you know what to do?
No.
No. So
It's
then
mean
write it down.
yes.
The 60 minutes of nothing. Less than 2 minutes of what is value engineering. So you faham apa value engineering kah? You tidak baca literature, you faham tak? Faham kan?
Mm-hmm.
Tak tahu buat apa kan? Tahu, you have to read more. Go and find samples of how people do it lah, kan?
Yes.
Huh? How does people do value engineering for construction materials? How does people do value engineering for house, even for foundation? It's literature review. So you have to write all this down lah. General, what is value engineering? What are the steps in value engineering? What are the phases in value engineering? What does people do in value engineering? What result does it produce? What is the benefit of doing it? Then what are the steps of doing it? You have to find at least three studies on similar studies. LCC. What is LCC? What is the benefit of LCC? What are the components of LCC? What are the steps of doing LCCs? What are the economic formula that you use for LCC? All this you have to write down. Huh? So you only give me like what, 2 pages of LCC, less than 2 pages of LCC, less than 1 page of LCC. So you think that you can do LCC already now? Can you do LCC?
No.
Do you know what LCC calculation involves? If you don't know, then you better do read up more, you see? This is the purpose of doing literature review. Bukan untuk like fill up the pages. It's for you to understand what is going on, so that you can do your own steps in resolving your question. Anything else you want to ask? Come on, hurry up. I just don't want to sit here, me talking and looking at the blank screen and you keeping quiet there, you know. It's already 12 o'clock. I'm already getting very fed up already. You want to talk or not? You don't want to talk, we go off already.
For the polymer pile, since there is many classification, like if there is like specific, then how do I say?
You write everything that you can find on polymer piles. You have to understand what is polymer piles first. Later on, the things that is not really relevant, we still can throw it away, okay? There is not that many also. There's only a few types. PVC, UPVC. What kind of shapes are they from polymer piles? If there are people producing polymer piles, where are they? Any literature on polymer piles and their strengths and their weaknesses? Definitely there's literature on that, okay? I've got many students, we've already got 2 or 3 students carrying out studies on polymer piles. If they can find it, I don't know why you cannot find it, okay? You need to understand what polymer piles first and what it can do, what type of polymer piles are there, what type of classification of polymer piles are there. And what is virgin material versus recycled material? And what kind of material mix? If let's say there is virgin is 100% certain PVC ka, HDPE ka, UPVC ka, PE ka. It's only 4 or 5 types, not that many, yeah. Recycled is just basically using the same material but recycled, 100% recycled ka, 50% recycled ka, 70-30 recycled ka. See, the thing is you don't even bother to do all this research. This is literature review. You have to find all this information and write it down nicely. See, you go and do so many studies on steel piles, whatever piles, it's not even related to the study. And you study also no use because you don't even write what is the advantage, what is it used for. It's completely out of topic, your literature reviews here. So next, anything else?
Ting no more. Yes.
You know what you want to do?
Oh.
Can you repeat to me to say that what you need to do before the 16th?
First, I need to, for the construction industry, I need to tell about what construction industry built, all the structures, the civil works. And then for foundation structures, talk about the high load foundation and also low load foundation. The light load foundation, what type of pile being used, RC and timber pile. Then talk about the timber pile in Sarawak pile use bakau and also belian. And then the cost for the light load, the size, the advantages of it. And then talk about the disadvantages. And then move to polymer pile.
Yep.
Then
In
polymer.
order to replace polymer piles with our traditional bakau and belian pile, we need to do a further study on the value of the piles. So we need to compare whether it's actually worth it to replace with bakau and belian, polymer with bakau and belian, and therefore we are utilizing the studies of VE and LCC. Okay, and then you describe what is LCC, what is VE, all the steps, all the formula, everything you have to write in there.
Okay.
And all this is not you write, I tell you to write. It's all by other authors, okay? You need to find literature on that. You've got the framework. I've given you the framework. You've just repeated the framework to me of what your literature review will be. Can you fill up the meat now with different literature? Huh?
Sorry, madam.
You
Can
have
I?
lung problem or you have ear problem?
Sorry, my line is so bad because it's blackout and I'm using my mobile data only.
So you need to fill up. You fill up the framework with literature that you can read from, not only textbook, but it has to be from latest journals and latest research papers. Get it or not?
Yes.
So I'm saying that I've already given you the framework of how to do this literature review. You've already tell me what you want to do.
Yes.
According to my framework. Can you do it now?
Yes.
And don't give me 2000 punya material. This is already 2022. This 2000 to 2010 one can only be maybe 20 to 30%. The rest should be all about 2010 and above up to 2022. So find literature that is related to your framework now, to the framework that we've been talking about.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
16, can you do that? Email me.
Alright. Can I... Okay. I'll try to meet before that.
I can't meet you. You have to give me your work by 16 and I will make a time to see you
Okay.
after 16. So you have now until 16. You go and fill up this in a very fill up dengan daging dia. Can you do that?
Yes.
Fill up as much as you can, and I'll see you again after 16.
Yes.
So you better don't disappoint me again, Okay? I will send you the recording later. If you don't get the recording from me by Saturday, everyone should message me if you don't get the recording, okay?
I record it on my own already.
Okay.
I think that's all.
Okay,
Okay. Thank you, doctor.